Do you know that there are questions you should never ask during the interview? And asking them could cancel all the hard work you have done. Let's find out what they are so you can make sure to avoid them. Hi guys, my name is Matt. I'm a career coach at Elevation Career, helping you to achieve all your career advancement goals through practical, top-notch training. Asking the right questions during the interview is crucial if you want to be successful. But knowing and staying away from the questions that you should not ask is perhaps even more critical, because asking them could undo all the progress that you have made and even potentially lead to being disqualified immediately. So here are the pitfalls that you need to avoid. Questions you should not ask. Number 1, asking for information that you should already have. There are obvious questions to which you should already have the answer from your research and preparation. For example, what are the main responsibilities of this role? What are your main products? Who are your competitors? This kind of basic information is something that you should already know from your research beforehand. Asking them will only make you look ill-prepared or not serious enough. If you really need to clarify some of these points because they happen to be unclear, you should phrase your questions in such a way to demonstrate that you have done your preparation and already have these basic information, but need to confirm a few specific details. For example, instead of asking, what are the main responsibilities of this role? What are your main products? And who are your competitors? Better ways to ask would be, I understand that the responsibilities of this role include A, B, and C. What would be a rough percentage breakdown of each work on a day-to-day basis? Or I understand that the responsibilities of this position include account management, sales, and branding. What would be an approximate ratio of each task on a day-to-day basis? What are some of the future development plans for your product offerings in the region, including A and B? What are some of the future development plans for your consulting business in Hong Kong, including cloud and security consulting? Among the players in your industry, such as blank, blank, and blank, which firm would be considered the biggest competitor of ABC, the name of the potential employer? Among global insurance firms in Asia, such as blank, 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 who would be the biggest competitor of ABC? Again, the name of the potential employer. Number 2, asking questions that have already been answered or discussed. Do not ask about anything that was already addressed or explained during the meeting. This can sometimes happen if you prepare a set of questions beforehand and you ask them without really thinking about what was already discussed. Doing this will only make you look either distracted or that you have really bad short-term memory, both of which are not exactly the most compelling traits of someone that you want to hire. Clearly, this will not leave a positive impression. Only ask questions that have not been answered already. Number 3, awkward or uncomfortable questions. Let me make it super clear. You do not want to put the interviewer in an awkward or embarrassing position. People remember how you made them feel much more than what you said to them. And an awkward or uncomfortable feeling is definitely not what you want the interviewer to associate with you. Just think about it. Would you like to work with someone who makes you feel embarrassed or upset? And would you like to spend at least 8 hours a day with such a person every day? Of course not. And if you had a choice, most likely you would not choose to have someone like that in your team. In the same way, interviewers do not like to hire people that make them feel this way. It's just human nature. Let me give you some examples. Examples of this kind of questions that you should avoid are, I know your company just went through a major restructuring last year. Why are you hiring again this year? I heard that this position has been open for over 6 months already. Why are you guys taking so long to find someone? This kind of question is quite confrontational, forces the interviewer to be on the defensive, and they almost sound like you are interrogating them. I understand that you may be genuinely interested in the information you're asking for, but you need to be mindful of the tone and the way you ask. Better ways to raise these questions are: what are the key drivers for the current expansion in the firm? I heard that this role had been open for over 6 months. What has been the main challenge in identifying the right person? By changing the tone, the questions are no longer confrontational and you can still find out the details you're looking for. Here's another example of a bad question. So, how did I do in the interview? What do you think about me? Did I pass? Did I pass the interview? Raising these questions will only demonstrate one's lack of situational awareness or interpersonal skills. The interviewer has not even had the chance to process or gather their thoughts. I mean, what do you even expect the interviewer to say? Even if the initial impression was positive, if you ask this kind of question, they may feel extremely uncomfortable or pushed to make a commitment right away. Again, not the kind of impression that you want to leave. Number 4, questions regarding salary or work-life balance. Unless you are in an HR interview, and that at the end of the entire process, avoid asking and talking about salary and compensation. Discussing salary or money too early can make you seem like someone who is either really desperate or only motivated by money. The best time to talk about compensation is at the end of the interview process when there is already an expressed interest in your profile. By then, you will have the most leverage to negotiate as well. Also, asking about work-life balance directly is typically not a good idea, as you may come across as someone who is unwilling to put in the extra hours or extra effort even when necessary. Instead, I suggest asking broader questions that can give you an idea about the work-life balance indirectly. For example, instead of asking, what are the work hours? Is there a lot of overtime work? Or how good is the work-life balance? You could ask in the following ways. What does a typical day look like in the office? How would you describe the work culture of the team? Do most people work late or during the weekend? What type of people would thrive in your team or firm? Is there a work from home policy? If yes, what does it look like? Number 5, personal or invasive questions. This is a big no-no. If it is none of your business, don't ask. No matter how much you feel like you connected with the interviewer, any question that may remotely seem inappropriate, stay well away from it. Any comments or questions about the interviewer's looks, health, ethnicity, relationships, and etc. are off limits. Do not go there. Otherwise, you run the risk of offending someone or coming across as improper, which is not the image that you want to portray. Keep your questions within the professional context and stay well away from anything that could even remotely be interpreted as inappropriate. In this video, we looked at some of the most common mistakes that you need to avoid when asking questions in a job interview so that you don't have to fall into unnecessary pitfalls. To recap, they are: 1. Obvious questions to which you should already know the answer. Number 2, questions that have already been answered. Number 3, awkward or uncomfortable questions. Salary or work-life balance related questions. And lastly, personal or invasive questions. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please click the like button below and consider subscribing. It would mean a lot to me, and it'll encourage me to continue to develop useful and helpful contents in the future. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, elevate your life by elevating your career. Bye for now.